I think that if you have flexibility in where you invest, it stands to reason that you should be able to make adjustments that enable you to reach your goals. Sometimes. Well, I mean, a good. This goes back to what we said before. You said, well, some value investors are willing to ignore the macro, and they say, if the stock's selling for a third less than the intrinsic value, I'm going to buy it. But the question is, do you want to be equally aggressive all the time, or do you want to play offense sometimes and defense at others? And I would argue that you should adjust your activities based on the climate of the market. So that's what we do. And sometimes in the distressed debt portfolio, we want to be at the very top of the capital structure, and that may be because that's where the best bargains are. It may be because the macro environment is certain that we don't want to live with macro uncertainty. But at other times, when these things are cheaper, when the environment seems less treacherous, maybe we'll drop down into the second level on the balance sheet, or maybe the third. Historically, we don't go to the bottom of the stack very often. But again, I think that these adjustments are worth making. Is it funny? Is a great dilemma, because on the one hand, you want to stick to your circle of competence, to use your term, or Buffett's.
Well, Warren Buffett's term.
I guess I shouldn't attribute it to you.
Please.
But on the other hand, it's probably a mistake to say, I do this, I do this, I don't do that, I don't do that, because at the same time that you want to capitalize on your expertise, you want to be flexible enough to pursue the bargains where they are, and you don't want to be so dogmatic that you say, I only do this, which implies I do it whether it's cheap or not. So this is one of the great dilemmas. You asked earlier where inefficiencies come from. Largely, they come from people who say, I do this and I don't do that. What they're basically saying is, I don't do that regardless how cheap it is. Well, that's silly, because then you just leave bargains for others. And if you say, I do this, but I don't do that regardless how cheap it is, you're basically saying, I do this regardless how expensive it is. That doesn't make much sense either. So this is why I think you have to be realistic. You have to be sensitive to conditions in your world, and you should adjust your tactics, offense, defense, based on conditions in your environment.